do like to get started on time. Welcome to Make Your Website Work For You. I'm Vito Curcuru, owner of Consult Vito. And I wanted to start today with my information, just to kind of get things running. Will probably be roughly, I'd say about 45 minutes. I'm going to go live on Facebook, and people will be able to view us from there as well. And a little bit of information about myself. I am working with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce as the president of the board of directors. And I work with Suzanne Levine, who's the executive director of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. This is brought to you by this event by the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, and it is brought to you by Consult Vito, my agency, where we will help you with digital marketing, including social media, buying ads for social media, really anything that has to do with digital marketing or marketing, buying ads anywhere else. I've done a lot of media planning and buying in my day, and we are available for everything from search engine optimization, improving your position on Google rankings, or if you want to learn about how the search engine results page works, we can talk to you about that. Google My Own Business, those pages. We have all those services available, as well as public relations and again, social media. A lot of people interested in learning about that. I do offer a discovery session. It's about an hour, and what we'll do is we would cover what your business challenges are. We would cover what you're doing, make sure that you're on track, and it's free. I do it on behalf of the chamber, as president of the chamber, as a service. And if you tell me in advance your website or your business, I can try and give you a mini plan and point you in the direction of as many free resources as possible. Again, this is brought to you by the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. All of this content is from Google. We are a Grow with Google partner, and we have 2 webinars in April. One is Get More Opens with Great Subject Lines. All of that content will be from Constant Contact. I am a Constant Contact certified partner, which means I can sell Constant Contact, taking a lot of training in email marketing. And on April 28th will be another Google webinar. It's about reaching customers with Google. So that April 28th one is going to cover a lot about Google's organic search results, creating a Google My Business listing, how advertising works on Google. It's really going to cover a lot of questions I get from clients and potential clients in discovery sessions about improving where your website places on Google search and all of that. So again, and here's my information, my phone number and my website and my email address. I have that up there in case you would like to receive the slides of this presentation. The video will appear on the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel. And I'm happy to send over the slides, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, call, email, or you can visit my website. Now on to what we all came for. Today we're going to learn how to create a search-friendly website that drives user action and supports your goals. Whether you're launching a new website or sprucing up an old one, this workshop will help you learn the skills you need to tailor your website to the needs of your target audience. I'll start by introducing myself again. I'm Vito Curcuru, and this is a Grow with Google webinar. All content has been researched and made by Google. I'm just presenting. So some research has shown that online shopping may have increased as much as 8.8% over the past few months. But it's important that we understand what shopping is before we can move forward with our website. Most of us equate shopping with buying something. And yes, buying is the ultimate goal of shopping. But consumers don't make a purchase before they shop around to find the best product or service that meets their needs. If you think people are coming to your website just to buy something, and you are approaching this all wrong. Think about your own shopping habits. Because so many of us are limited in where we can travel to purchase food and necessary items, it's no surprise the amount of consumer shopping online has increased. Many businesses have temporarily closed their storefronts and have launched online stores. Today, more than ever, small businesses are getting online to connect with consumers and drive sales. After all, many of us are connecting with businesses from our own homes, as we've shown in the image on this slide, in the previous slide with the woman shopping in her bedroom. There are a variety of ways to get your business going online, and here are a few. Video appointments. So even if your business has never had a website or sold products, these are the ways you're going to connect with your customers online. Video appointments. Many service-based businesses are offering online appointments. Fitness professionals, lawyers, accountants, doctors, real estate agents. Think about the opportunity to get someone on a Zoom call or get someone on a Google Meets call and to just have that professional appointment to give people advice or to let them shop products and ask questions about your products. You can offer that appointment booking on your website or your Google My Business listing. And you can use Google Meet again to not only do that, but you can work, collaborate, and learn from anywhere by taking classes and giving classes. A lot of people have an online store selling products on your website you normally sell at local events or in your brick and mortar store. Contact-free payments. If you operate an essential business, you can offer online payments to keep your employees and customers safe. Web order and delivery for local restaurants and coffee shops. Allow customers to place orders online for pickup delivery. And fundraisers. For businesses that can't operate at all during this time, use your website to create those fundraisers for your business and employees. And of course, gift certificates, allowing customers to purchase gift certificates online for services they'll use later, such as salons, restaurants, and theaters as the economy begins to open up. So here's something to think about. The unique opportunities you have right now to connect with your customers in new and different ways. If you can't currently connect with your customers in person, it's likely you can find a way to connect with them online. So here's a woman on her laptop in her salon connecting with her customers and booking appointments for when she'll open again. And again, think about those video appointments. What is it that you have? What kind of service can you offer that you can talk to someone on a one-to-one sales call? It could be something as simple as a bicycle purchase. It could be something as complicated as a class you want to teach to them, or guitar lessons or something like that. So what is web design? When people think of web design, they often think of the overall template, the look and feel, and that is the graphics and layout that appear consistently through the website. That design is the skin of the site, and it's just one component of web design. Within the graphic template, there are lots of common elements that appear on most websites, including the header, or top of the section of the website, usually includes the logo in the left corner, and most website visitors expect that the logo will link them back to the home page. The footer or bottom of the website usually includes important links, contact info, and copyright info. Navigation is usually horizontally across the top of the site, below the header, or vertically on the left side of the website. The web design should lay out a set of guidelines that keep the pages looking consistent. Choose your colors, font sizes, font styles, and types of content. For anyone out there using a content management system like Wix or Weebly, Squarespace, WordPress, Drupal, this can help you a lot, and it's a very popular option. And there are many, many options out there. They're all a little bit different. What most of them have in common is the ability to change and customize the web design. Usually they have templates, and all the same principles apply, whether you're creating a design from scratch or using a pre-built template. Navigating the site within that design should be effortless for visitors. And sometimes it's effortless on your side making that website if you choose the right kind of content management system. I have a lot of clients asking me which one's the best. If you have little to no skills in your mind, you're incorrect. If you use a GoDaddy, a Wix, a Weebly, those templates are drag and drop. They're very easy to use. WordPress requires a little bit more activity on the back end in terms of maintaining your site, but there's a lot more flexibility. And GoDaddy, Weebly, Wix, once you take out your domain, it can be $25 to $35 a month, but you get a lot of simplicity when you use some of those content management, those web builders as they're called. So let's talk about a great website. We'll look at 6 characteristics of a great website today. It's goal-oriented, it's organized and easy to search, it's useful, it's functional, it's intuitive to use on any device, and last but not least, it's findable by search engines. So let's talk about goal-oriented. Many business owners know that building a website is an important early step, but a website can be a lot more useful than a business card or brochure. With some advanced planning, you can create that site that helps your business grow right out of the gate. But first, decide on how you want to grow. You need to start by defining goals. So ask yourself why you want that website and what do you want it to do. Think of that site as a tool that can help you achieve your business goals. The goals depend on your business, but here's some examples. Build the brand, generate leads, make sales, re-engage customers, attract employees, provide customer support, and many, many more. Could be a portfolio for your artwork, your portfolio for your work. You can showcase the work you've done in the past, all the work you've done in the past, testimonials, case studies, all of that can help build your brand, generate leads, make sales, etc. So a lot of people go into, and you probably have heard this phrase before, a SMART goal. So let's say we want to sell more jewelry in an online store. So to give the goal structure and make it actionable, one trick is to incorporate the SMART framework. Is the goal specific and detailed? How many pieces of jewelry is more? What jewelry types do you want to promote? Bracelets, necklaces, watches? M in SMART, can you track and measure this goal? How will you know when you've accomplished it? A in SMART, is this goal realistically attainable? If you said 1 million rings, well, it might not be realistic. But rather than pulling a number out of thin air, consider your past sales activity. If you have previously only sold jewelry at your physical location, a good goal could be to sell as many pieces on your website as you sold in your physical store in the same time period. You don't want to set goals that are impossible to reach, and you can always adjust later. So is this relevant to your business? Will this goal help you reach your business goals? That's all part of the R, relevant. And A, set that time frame. And set that time frame for that T. When do you want to achieve this goal? It might be that you want to sell 100 necklaces online in the month of May. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time frame. SMART. So here's something to think about for current website owners. Think about the existing goals you might have for your website. And for those who haven't yet created that new website, what do you think your website, the purpose it's going to serve? Write those ideas down. And then think about that woman at home with her dog and she has the laptop. Her goals may even become more important when her primary business operations have completely moved to the online space. Now next, who's that target audience? And I have a lot of clients who are always talking about who the target is. And this is a very good discussion on the target. And again, we can send you the presentation simply upon request. So think about that target audience. This is going to influence how you build your site to achieve your goals. Your audience impacts everything from the graphic design to the words on the web pages. Your site should not try to be everything to everyone. Narrow in on your audience, not the world. Defining your target audience might sound simple, but it takes some effort. It's a relatively easy to define an audience. You have the demographics like gender, age, and employment status. But if you stop there, it makes it more difficult for your business to stand out among competitors. And stereotypes about your audience can lead to false assumptions. So ask yourself, what makes your audience unique? The goal is to develop a more complete picture of your target audience. For example, specific age ranges rather than one large range. Consider location, city, suburbs, rural, etc. Consider education level, type of employment, hobbies, interests, values. Consider their view of your product or service. Is it a necessity, a nice to have, or a special treat? Think about what they do for a living, what motivates them, how do they feel on a typical workday? And one thing I always encourage clients to do is to think about the day in the life exercise of your target. It's an exercise I learned at a lot of large agencies. And what they would do is they would start around 6 in the morning. That may be when your target gets up. What do you think they eat? What do you think they do for breakfast? Where do they go for breakfast? How do they get in the car in the morning in terms of what kind of car? Is it in a 2-car garage, 1-car garage? What kind of house do they live in? You really start to build that person. We used to take pictures out of magazines and clip them as indications of what we thought this customer would be like. That on the road, how long of a commute do they have? Where do they park? Is it in a parking structure at the place of business they're at? What kind of business are they working at? Then what do they do when they get to work? Are they a manager? Are they a director? Are they a vice president? Are they a C-suite person? And then what does their day look like? Are they torn around in different directions? Do they have time to look up an online shop? Where do they go to lunch? Who do they go to lunch with? And you go through every hour of that day, and you'll really get a good sense of who these people are who might be in your target. Next, how will you measure success? Now that you're thinking about your goals and your audience, let's add another consideration to the mix: tracking and measuring success. If you don't track and measure your website performance, you won't have a way to make improvements. Well, improvements based on data. Here's another way to think about it. Let's say you made some modifications to your bicycle to make it go faster. If you don't know your max speed before the modifications, how will you know if it worked? Similarly, you want to track and measure the online success. So always be testing. And that's difficult for a lot of people who want to set their website and forget it and not revisit it. Think of the different ways and the people have found you. Ask them when they call you on the phone, when they visit your store, when they're corresponding by email. Get more precise by setting up a trackable phone number. If you advertise with Google, you can set up free call tracking. You can track the number of emails and form submissions. If you have an e-commerce website, you can track sales. And of course, free website software, Google Analytics, gives you gives you analysis and visitor behavior to see exactly how they engage on your site. Google Analytics will give you age, gender, hobbies, affinities for that individual, where they live, where they came from, what they searched on to find your site. All of that is great information. So let's talk about Google Analytics. Ideally, your website leads the user from one page of useful content to the next until they finally convert. Building personalized experience starts with good data. Google Analytics can help you to better understand your audience and the insights their activity gives you so you can make more strategic decisions for your business. Spend time with your user data and site analytics to find opportunities to customize experiences for users that drive additional value. Learn which search terms and sources drive the most traffic. To remedy a high bounce rate and a misalignment between your visitors and your website's content, examine in detail your visitors' interaction with your web pages, the nature of your traffic, and why those visitors are arriving at your website. Look at the demographic information for your most profitable customers. Look for useful ways to segment your users. Rather than designing one experience for everyone or the average user, look for those distinct groups that might have different wants, pain points, or behaviors, and may also begin to understand the characteristics of your most profitable audiences. Understand the content your audience is most interested in. Evaluate your traffic, and that can help you identify who is and who isn't finding your page content to be useful. It can also drive your decision-making when it comes to the content you decide to highlight on your website. Evaluate which channels drive the most conversions. Understanding where your traffic comes from and what drives their conversions on your website will help you to make smarter advertising content and design decisions. To get started with the analytics, you just see the tracking ID. It's a free account, and then you'll put that tracking ID either embedded in your WordPress, or a lot of times Wix, Weebly, GoDaddy just has a little box and you just copy and paste it in there. Now, a great website is also organized. We've talked about those goals and tips for choosing a design, but let's talk about the information. If you don't have a lot of web pages now, your site will grow over time. Planning how existing and future content will fit into the framework of your website will serve you well. Let's take a look. Start with a plan. You may have heard the term information architecture, or IA. And if you're working with a web designer, was probably the first step you started to take. It sounds technical, but you don't need to be a website designer, programmer, or an architect to create one. Simply put, it's a plan to organize information on your website. The IA maps, this is where you're going to see the sections, the pages, and the functionality of your website. There's several pages and sections found on most websites, including, of course, the home page, the About Us, and a contact page. Depending on your business, you'll probably include a products or service section too. But how do you organize that info? The best way is by considering your business goals. Now, earlier in this workshop, you started a list of your business goals. You can refer to that when you're planning out your website. So let's take a look at that example. The business that sells jewelry, and in this example, the products are organized by jewelry type, but there's a lot of different ways to do this. So give yourself some time to think about all the ways you might organize this content. So here's some tips for organizing your content. When you're choosing names and labels for parts of your site, keep them short and descriptive. And as you create your website plan, remember, keep the most important information in the main navigation. That depends on your business and your business goals. Your plan can help you create and select the most appropriate website design/template. So define that target audience. What do you want people to take away from this website? Ask people what they want to take away from the website. And now make a list of the key words related to your business. Can you incorporate any into your navigation or organization? Use this list to keep site content, colors, icons, imagery consistent with goals. Make a list of information and features you have or that you want to have on your website. How will they help you reach your business goals? The image to the right shows the home page of the Missouri Star Quilts. You'll see short, clear descriptions in the main navigation. The business owner has organized the site into categories that are relevant to and understood by the target audience, such as yardage and pre-cut fabric. You can also see information about online shopping in the top right navigation, where you may be accustomed to seeing the shopping cart. Additionally, she has included promotions front and center to catch the attention of her customers. So a great website is also useful. We've talked about goals and organization, and we're getting closer to building the site. The next thing you need to consider is creating relevant content and experiences for your users. Great websites. Well, when you hear the term website content, the first thing that probably comes to mind is text, like the words in a book. That's one type, but content doesn't stop there. If you sell beautiful cakes, you might want to add a photo gallery section. If you deliver soil to residential customers, you might want to add a video that shows people how to measure a flower bed to help them order the right amount. If you sell cameras, you might want to add PDFs of product manuals so your customers can download the info if they misplace their print manual. What kinds of content would be useful for your target audience? What content would support your business goals? Whenever possible, create original and unique content. This can set your business apart from the competition. But making your website useful is more than adding content to your website. It's about creating value for someone based on your shared history with them. Think about the keywords your audience might use to find your content. How would they craft their search? For example, they may type in a struggle like pain in the arches of feet, but actually need a shoe repair custom insole. For inspiration, let's take a look at how a family-owned cookie company, Partake Foods, uses content to engage their target audience. The image to the right shows the homepage of Partake Foods. Partake Foods makes allergy-friendly, healthy snacks. It was born out of a family struggle to find allergy-free, delicious snacks for their young daughter. So much of their website's content offers inspiration for their target audience, who has this very specific desire or problem, the struggle to enjoy their favorite sweet treats when they either have specific food restrictions or they want to eat healthy. An audience is immediately drawn in with engaging imagery. Content on the company's blog covers anything from tips to de-stress at home to making your own pie crust with Partake cookies. A compelling brand story build a connection with their specific target audience who may also struggle to find their favorite foods allergy-free. Now, a great website is also functional. Let's move on to that aspect of helping your website achieve your business goals, functionality. But what does that mean? Well, it refers to the parts of your website that allow visitors to take actions. If you are making a list of all the functionality you want on your website, it might include a site search, a contact form, an online shopping cart checkout, or a custom design tool specific for your customers. Now think about how can your website help? Functionality can help support your business goals. So let's take a look at 3 scenarios. Challenge 1. You run a shoe repair business. People either call or stop by to get quotes on their repairs. Challenge 2. You started your own counseling practice, but you're the only person working there and you can't answer the phones when you're with a client. What can you do? And challenge 3. You answer the same set of questions on the phone every day. How can your website help? Well, offer an online form with the ability to attach a photo to an item. Creator license an appointment scheduling tool, and compose a simple web page with frequently asked questions. Seems like simple ideas, but could save you a lot of time. Now let's talk about great websites being intuitive. We've covered some of the big picture topics, including goals, audience, and measurement. Let's move to the actual website. This section is focused on how intuitive the design is. In other words, does your site design naturally lead visitors through a process on the site to accomplish the goals you laid out? Here's another way to think about it. Visitors should not have to think about, or worst case scenario, struggle to find what they're looking for, to do what they want to do on your website. The design can have a big impact on whether your site helps you reach your goals. Let's take a look at a few things to consider when building a great experience for your website visitors. The image to the right shows a man on his mobile device, and nearly 9 out of 10 times when people had a helpful or relevant mobile brand experience, they said they would purchase from the brand in the future. People expect brands to provide them with relevant experiences. We're living in a time when mobile experiences matter more than brand loyalty, and providing irrelevant content to visitors can have a big impact on the bounce rate of your site. So, as an example, Dr. Squatch Soaps, a men's natural soap company with an online store, offers an interactive lifestyle quiz on their website that helps its customers determine their product type and scent preferences. So what we often call that a configurator. So you're asking people questions and it's configuring the best product mix, the best product scenario for them. A reminder about mobile. Now we have a woman tapping her smartphone. Do you know that more than 50% of all web traffic is now coming from smartphones and tablets? And with the advancement of our mobile devices, consumers have come to expect easy and frictionless experiences across every interaction they have with your business. Now, in fact, 46% of people said they would not purchase from a brand again if they had an interruptive mobile experience. So making your website work on mobile phones is no longer an afterthought, it's a priority. Remember your mobile users as you work through your goals, audience, and site design. Now, the good news is more and more websites are being built from the start with technology that automatically optimizes the website format to best fit the device it's being viewed on. This is called responsive web design, and it adjusts the site's appearance to best present the info. Using a mobile-friendly design is an important first step. And a lot of clients come to when we build websites for them, and they would like things more horizontal, and they want a lot of content that reads left to right. The cautionary tale is most of the time your mobile, when the site goes mobile, that's going to put things in one column and it's going to be a scroll down. So you have to take that into account that you may not want to have 6 boxes going left to right. You may want 222 or 333 or just one, and then another section, because everything's going to go straight down on mobile. So if you have those 6 boxes or 12 boxes and you're trying to make everything fit, you're just expanding the way people have to scroll as they get down and go through your website. So let's talk about navigation. Let's make it easy. Highlighting the elements that are selected, for example, when choosing options on an e-commerce store. Design your site to allow plenty of spaces for users to tap so they don't get frustrated by making the wrong selections. Some hands are bigger than others. Ensure that the call to action can be tapped to make the process of converting as easy as possible. Shopping. Make it easy for customers to shop. Continue shopping and come back to an earlier page to ensure if they come back to the site after a break, they can still easily accomplish what they need to. Now, another tip, recommend similar products. We all know how that works from Netflix and Amazon throughout the shopping experience to make it easy for them to find what they need. Let's get into that checkout. Make it easier for people to check out and pay on mobile devices. How many of you have visited a website and tried to check out only to have difficulty when entering your card number? A difficult checkout process can have a major impact on your conversion rate. Here are some things you can do to make it easier to check out. Of course, reduce the number of steps. Show visitors progress as they move through the checkout process. This lets them know they're just about done. Use guest checkout so visitors don't have to sign up to purchase. Just make sure to offer them to sign up and save their profiles for next time. And of course, offer a value proposition. If they sign up, they can receive your newsletter. They can receive a 15% off coupon. Everyone today will be signed up for my newsletter, and you'll be able to see I provide content and information to help your marketing program. Lastly, you can enable digital wallets such as Google Pay or Apple Pay for a truly frictionless experience. So let's talk about being search friendly. After all, if you made the time, effort, and expense to plan and create a website, you want to make sure that potential customers can find you when they search online. The process of helping a website increase its visibility on search engines is called SEO, search engine optimization. Now that merits its own presentation. We're going to give you some tips to get your site off to a good start. And again, if you have some questions, you can ask in the Q&A after this, or you can call me directly. There's a lot of great information for search engine optimization that I provide to people, and I work on people's SEO all the time. 75% of smartphone owners turn to search first to address their immediate needs. It's important to optimize your website's position and search results to better connect with the customers who need you and your products and services. Let's look at how a user might see their own search results when typing a search query for something they need or want from a business. At the top, you see the word or phrase that the searcher typed in called the search query. Below the search query, you see the search results. That page can include ads identified with the ad label. It's important you can see that little red box. At the top, or below the text ad, in this example, you see the start of the natural or organic results. Creating a search-friendly site helps increase your chances of appearing on this area of the page, the organic search area. Organic results are web pages that Google's algorithm identifies as the most useful matches for this search. Clicks on those results are free. It's important to note that websites cannot pay Google to appear in the organic search results, and advertising does not influence a website's position in the organic search. On the right, you see a section that provides useful info for the searcher, and that's called a Google My Business listing. It's a free tool that helps you add your business info to Google Search and Maps. So let's get into it. How Google works. Think of the web like an ever-growing library filled with billions and billions of books. A book represents a website. But there's no card catalog to help you find anything, no central database. On top of that, people aren't merely searching for websites. They want to find specific information inside the sites, the individual pages and resources. So how in the world can people find anything? Enter the search engines like Google. Google helps people find the info on the web by sorting through all those billions of sites and web pages and showing people where to find the answers they are looking for. To do that, Google uses software called a web crawler, also known as a spider or robot or bot, and Google's crawler is known as a Googlebot. Googlebot starts with a list of URLs from previous crawls plus new site map data, more on that later. It then visits these websites looking for new links to add to the index, plus changes to the websites and dead links. Googlebot goes from link to link looking for new data about publicly available web pages. Any information discovered is sent back to Google servers to update the index to ultimately help searchers find the web pages. Googlebot processes each page it indexes, taking note of important information from keywords to website freshness and stores it in the index. The index is like the index in the back of a book with an entry for every word seen on every indexed web page. It's huge and it's ever growing. Google's index contains hundreds of billions of web pages. Every time a person searches Google, the search is looking for information stored and organized in this gigantic index. And there's a lot of searches happening, more than 1 trillion a year. I know it's hard for me to wrap my head around that number, so here's another way to imagine it. Within 1 second, Google just processed 40,000 searches. So 40,000 searches happened in that second. For each of the corresponding search result pages, how did Google decide which websites and resources to display? These decisions all happen automatically, the work of a computer algorithm. Google's algorithm considers more than 200 factors or signals. The signals include basic criteria like the language and location of the searcher, what type of device is being used. Other signals include the age of the content on the web pages, its relevance to the search query, and whether the page provides a good user experience, and much, much more. Now, after identifying the best set of results from information stored in that index, Google presents the results to the searcher, and all of that happened in a fraction of a second. So let's talk about our search engine optimization plan. So this is about the techniques that improve your website rank in Google search results and attract higher quantity and quality of website visits to grow your online presence. So why is it important when it comes to managing a website for your product, service, or brand? Well, consumers use those search engines and are typically looking for that specific product, service, or solution. And regardless, they have a special need or want what your website enabled to fulfill. Ranking and search results for particular keyword topics and phrases is going to help you connect with your ideal customer. So, search engine tips. Optimize load time, especially for people viewing your site on mobile devices. You can test your site at g.co/testmysite, it's a Google product, and receive a free report on aspects of your website that could be slowing it down. You can then make changes to speed up your website, which will keep visitors from navigating away from it. Next big tip, content, original content, useful, information-rich, clear, and accurate. Include keywords users would type to find your pages and make sure that your site actually includes those words. For links, especially on the navigation, use text when possible. If it is an image, make sure to include relevant alt tag, add internal links which will link to other areas of your website, keep your audience engaged in additional content. External links will offer value and increase reputability outside your website. Backlinks are links to your website from other website sources. This showcases your website's reliability and relevance. Page titles and descriptions. Ensure that the title elements and alt attributes are descriptive, specific, and accurate. So make sure you're telling people what they're going to find there, right? Remember, information architecture not only helps your human visitors, it helps Google interpret the content, including what's important information and what is less important on your website. And of course, design your site for all browsers, device types, and sizes, including desktops, tablets, and smartphones. Google prioritizes websites that work across all devices and can reach all of your potential audiences. So, How does it all work together? Your website is not the only presence online, it's a small piece of the puzzle. You have many ways to connect with your target audience online. Sometimes you meet your ideal customers in a completely different way as you build a relationship with them. They use your website as another tool to connect with you. In other instances, your audience may find your website first and use that as the first step in getting to know you and your business better. Of course, you can use Google My Business to connect with customers in your local area through Google Maps, and perhaps your media presence offers the first introduction to your brand. Customers might find you merely by searching for exactly what it is that you offer, and Google Ads can capture the customers who may be ready to make immediate buying decisions. So it's a lot of information, it's a lot of content. Again, feel free to call or email me. We can set up some time. I can explain things more in depth, no charge, discovery session, just to kind of expand your marketing knowledge. It is a very complicated world. As you probably know, marketing is not easy anymore, but now is a good time to take some questions. If you have any questions on any of these topics or anything in marketing in general, I do enjoy sharing the information I have and what I know to further everybody's marketing prowess and information. So somebody has a question, it looks like, about blogs and content. So the reason, and this is probably where it's coming from, everybody hears they need to maintain a blog. They need to keep the blog relevant. They need to keep the blog fresh. They need to post to the blog regularly. Everybody asks, well, why? Well, it's back to that search engine optimization that Google and Bing and Yahoo, they're all looking for that content. And when they're out searching, as we talked about, they're looking for new content, fresh content, content that's relevant to the subject that people are searching for. And if you start to think, well, I'm not sure what people are searching for when they find my site, Google does have a free tool. It's called Google Search Console. And once you get your Google Analytics account set up, what Google Search Console does is it's going to tell you what people searched on when they found your site. So that's very useful for that, for trying to understand how people are finding your site. We do have a question about Google courses, about YouTube channel. There is a YouTube, not a YouTube Academy, but there are some courses to learn for YouTube channel. I'll have to, if you want to send me an email, or you can go to Google. There are some. I have a course, and it's on the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce about YouTube channels and how to monetize, create, and some tips on that. It's on the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel. It's one of the first ones I did. I can send you that presentation, and my email is here on the screen, vito@consultvito.com. So that's a great question, because there are some rules of the road on YouTube. A lot of people want to monetize their channel. What YouTube will do is there's a minimum number of followers and a minimum amount of content they want on your channel. And then you can monetize your channel, and commercials will run on your YouTube channel. So that's always something people ask questions about. How can I make money off of my content? The other thing you can do is you can set your website up with Google and have ads appear on your website that you can get paid for. So it's kind of, it's a program Google has that if you're willing to accept ads, and you can't choose the ads, you can put some parameters on it. But a lot of times, people, they're the display ads. So if you ever go to a website, you think, well, how did that person or that website get, this company to advertise on the website? Well, they just may be in, selling space on their website to get some money going. And it's not a lot of money. You have to have quite a bit of impressions. But, that program is out there as well. If you're looking to monetize your content or monetize your YouTube channel, you could also find there's a lot of affiliate companies where you may sometimes see this on a website now. If you click on this link, our company will make money because we're affiliates of, we have an affiliate program. If you want to monetize your content on your website, you can put affiliate links on your website. And if someone clicks on that link, sometimes you'll get some money for the click, or if they go through the purchase, you can get a percentage of the purchase. And there's a lot of companies who do affiliate programs. A lot of companies do affiliate marketing. So, and if the question was about YouTube channel in terms of monetization, but to set up a YouTube channel, it's as simple as getting a Gmail and then going through the top part of your Gmail and going to YouTube and creating a channel. And again, I can always walk you through that. It's pretty simple. But as far as, a lot of people want to have a YouTube channel or affiliate links to start monetizing what they can get in terms of passive income. So, you hear a lot of teenagers and a lot of kids out there, and they're making a lot of money because they have a lot of followers. And the way they're doing it is they're hustling and getting people to follow them, generating that critical mass of content. So it is a great way to get out there, be an influencer. And, we all know that Kim Kardashian gets, I think it's like $1 million per tweet. Anytime someone asks her to tweet something that's sponsored, I think her and her sisters anywhere between $250,000 and $1 million. So, but they built up their followings, they built up their content, they built their brand. And you hear a lot of influencers now and a lot of, just people who are mommy bloggers. That's a big term in terms of the people out there who are talking about safe products for kids or things to do with kids. So there's a lot of opportunity on all of that. And starts off, I always recommend, of course, have that website so people can go there and, of course, get yourself some products. And if you're leery about products, you can use what's called a drop ship methodology, which is just you're the front of a store, people buy through you, and then a company in back of you fulfills the order. So a lot of ways to monetize YouTube channels, websites, etc., that are kind of hidden that people don't always know. And then, hopefully I've given you guys some ideas. So if there are any, see if there's any other questions here. See, so somebody has a question about search and long tail. So long tail search is, people hear that phrase that became really popular about 2000, 2005, and then kind of got away from it. Long tail search is when someone asks for something very specific and it kind of goes on. So a search may be lawnmower engine, and then a long tail search might be lawnmower engine for Briggs and Stratton 1999 model 6428. And the long tail search gets very specific. And now Google is really looking through, billions of pages to find that particular information. And that obviously, if you have that kind of content on your site, then Google's going to pick it up. So if you have lawnmower engine manuals and you have one for that particular model, you want to make sure you label it in text and not as, Google's not great about reading images and, digging deep on a PDF, but well, it's great about it, but sometimes if you don't have it set up right on your website, it's not going to know what it is. You want to have it labeled. So that's the long tail search. So I had a question about vending machine businesses. I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit. That'd be great. I think for something like that, I'd start with there's a Google Search Console for your website. I'd also go to set up an AdWords account, okay? Go to Google AdWords, set up an AdWords account. You will probably have to put your credit card down, but you don't have to spend any money. The reason I would recommend having a Google AdWords account is go through the keyword tool, type in a vending machine business or whatever business you're in, and what Google's going to do is it's going to generate a report of the words and keywords that are most relevant to that business or to that term. And then you can start building your content. You can start building your website, and it's going to make you more easily found, right? So think about your business, go to that keyword relevance tool on Google AdWords, and now they're going to tell you the most popular words that are searched. And now you can start building your website, your content, your blogs, any ad programs, your social media, because now you know exactly what people are looking for. And the Google Search Console is going to tell you how good of a job you're doing in terms of what people are searching on to find your website. And then the Google Analytics are going to tell you what kind of people are going to your website. So the key tools in all of this are free. Analytics is free, an AdWords account is free, Search Console is free. And what you're starting to do is you're starting to look at all these pieces, and now you're going to build your website, you're going to build your content, and it's all going to come together in terms of looking at data and analytics, and you're really building yourself a program that is, as you know, maybe it's all on spreadsheets or you're downloading it, but it's going to be as strong as someone you pay hundreds of dollars or however much a month to tell you that. This is how I build it for clients, and I always tell them they can build this on their own. But a lot of people just say, you know what, just give me the reports and let's make the changes. I'm happy to do that. But I do want everyone to know that this information is accessible, it's relevant, you can act on it, and it really will help your business. And the best part is that there's no charge to these things. Google provides these. Now, Google has a ton of courses on all of its products. I've taken them. They're not terribly difficult until you get to some advanced courses, but the advanced courses may not have much relevancy if you're a small business owner, because a lot of the stuff they'll tell you in the initial courses are, easy to understand. A lot of it is what I just went over. And the courses are usually, they're free, they're easy to understand, they're short bite-sized videos, and they're very beneficial. So of course, I always recommend, finding those things that are free. Google has a whole, they've actually organized their academy and courses much better the last few years than they have in the past. So it's about 2:51. Are there any more questions or anything anyone wants to talk about as far as this presentation or marketing in general, or maybe you need a little help in social media or what have you? Just go ahead and ask away. Looks like we have answered all the questions. I appreciate everyone's time. Again, there's my information. I am a marketing consultant. I do marketing plans, public relations, advertising. I have 2 webinars in April. Email, subject lines, people always have questions about that. That's Constant Contact. And thank you for attending. And to reach customers online with Google, that's really going to be a deeper dive that we did today on some of their products and how to get them set up and why you should use them. And everything we talked about with Google today, Bing, I know people use Bing and MSN. A lot of it's set up the same way, but Google has about 67% of search in terms of, of all people searching, about 67% use Google. So a lot of it is overlap. Bing and Yahoo are sort of one entity now, MSN, Bing, Yahoo. But, and that's about 20, 25, 30, at any one time it fluctuates, but Google's got at least 67%. Everything you do, I always tell people, look, if Google's telling you to do this, odds are pretty good you'll have success because you're capturing close to 70% of people who are searching. So that's why I tell people, get your analytics account, get your Google Search Console going, get your Google My Business listing. Go ahead and put all that together. They're not charging you for it. So it's low-hanging fruit for your marketing plan. So I appreciate everyone attending. Thank you very much. And I hope, you have success. Again, I'm president of the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce. This is a Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce event. We'll have 2 in April. Feel free to reach out to me for any questions, and hope you have a really great day.